Dae-sung stood at the observation window and watched the alien ship dock with the station. He had been a soldier for 15 years before becoming an instructor, and nothing in his training prepared him for this moment. First contact with aliens. Real aliens. The Galactic Council had finally reached Earth. The doors opened with a hiss. 3 creatures walked through, and Dae-sung tried not to stare. The first looked like a giant mantis made of black metal. The second resembled a crocodile that learned to walk on 2 legs. The third was covered in purple fur and had too many teeth. "Welcome to the observation station," Hee-jin said beside him. She was the xenobiologist assigned to this mission, and she seemed much calmer than Dae-sung felt. "I am Hee-jin, and this is combat instructor Dae-sung." The mantis creature clicked forward. "I am Ambassador Rixtal of the Vraxian Empire. This is Commander Gornath of the Krellian military, and Scholar Veshra of the Tooth Clans." Its voice came from a translator device that made it sound oddly flat. "We are honored," Hee-jin said. "The Council has reviewed our initial reports?" "Yes," Rixtal said. "Your species shows great promise. Peaceful, agricultural, cooperative social structures. You build cities instead of hunting grounds. You share resources instead of fighting over them. Clearly, you evolved as a prey species that developed intelligence as a survival mechanism." Dae-sung blinked. "I'm sorry, prey species?" "It is nothing to be ashamed of," Veshra said, showing all those teeth in what might have been a smile. "Most intelligent species in the galaxy evolved from herbivores or scavengers. Predator species rarely develop civilization. They are too aggressive, too individualistic. Your kind is normal, safe." "Safe," Dae-sung repeated. He looked at Hee-jin, who seemed to be trying very hard not to laugh. "The Council wishes to establish cultural exchange programs," Rixtal continued. "We will send our youth to observe your species. They will learn from your peaceful ways. In return, we offer technology, trade, and protection." "Protection from what?" Dae-sung asked. "From the predators," Gornath growled. "The dangerous species, the hunters, the warriors. Your kind would not survive without the Council's guidance." Hee-jin cleared her throat. "We appreciate the offer. We have prepared a demonstration of human culture for your youth. We thought a sporting event would be appropriate." "Sporting event?" Rixtal's head tilted. "Games, recreational activities. This one is called soccer. It is very popular with our children." The 3 aliens exchanged glances. "Children playing games," Veshra said. "Yes, very appropriate for a peaceful species. We accept." 2 days later, Dae-sung stood on the sidelines of a soccer field in Seoul with 3 very confused aliens and their 5 offspring. The young aliens had arrived expecting to observe timid human children, perhaps playing gentle games of tag or picking flowers. Instead, they watched 20 Korean children between the ages of 8 and 12 engage in what looked like organized warfare. "Explain the purpose of this activity," Rixtal demanded, as a child named Jinwoo body-checked another player twice his size to steal the ball. "They are trying to kick the ball into the goal," Hee-jin explained. "The team with the most goals wins." "But they are fighting," one of the young Vraxians hissed. "They are using pack tactics, coordinated attacks. That small one has been chasing the ball for 37 minutes without stopping." "That's Jinwoo," Dae-sung said proudly. "Good stamina, that kid." On the field, a girl named Soo-jin intercepted a pass and sprinted down the field. 3 opponents chased her. She ran for 2 full minutes before passing to her teammate. The alien youth stared in horror. "How long can these cubs run?" Gornath asked. "The game is 90 minutes, Hee-jin said. "Though for this age group, they play 60-minute matches." 60 minutes of continuous pursuit, Veshra whispered. "That is impossible for cubs. Even our trained warriors need rest." "Oh, they're just kids," Dae-sung said. "Wait until you see the adults play." The game continued. The aliens watched as human children displayed speed, endurance, tactical thinking, and aggressive competition. When a boy named Tae-young scored a goal, he roared in triumph, and his teammates mobbed him. The young aliens took 3 steps back. Then things got worse. A player from the other team, a girl named Mi-sun, protested. "That doesn't count. The ball went out of bounds. No, it didn't, Tae-young shouted back. Yes, it did. I saw it. You're wrong. The referee blew the whistle and signaled that the goal counted. This did not end the argument. The children kept shouting. More players joined in. Soon, both entire teams were involved in a heated debate about whether the ball had crossed the line before Tae-young kicked it. The argument lasted for an hour. Parents got involved. Coaches got involved. The referee threatened to end the game. The children kept arguing with the passion of lawyers presenting cases before the Supreme Court. They brought up previous games, cited the rulebook, and analyzed the trajectory of the ball from multiple angles. Rixtal turned to Hyejin with something like fear in its alien eyes. These are your young? Yes. They hunt in packs. It's just a game. They chase without tiring. They're having fun. They compete for dominance over territory and resources. It's a ball. They are predators, Rixtal said flatly. You lied to us. You said humans were peaceful. We are peaceful, Hyejin protested. Then why do your children display the behavior of apex hunters? Gornath demanded. The pack coordination, the endurance pursuit, the aggressive competition, the territorial disputes. These are predator traits. Daesung finally understood what was happening. He started laughing. He couldn't help it. The aliens thought humans were prey animals, peaceful herbivores. They had no idea. What is humorous about this situation? Veshra asked. You really don't know, Daesung said. You didn't do your research, did you? Explain, Rixtal commanded. Hyejin sighed. Humans are not prey species, Ambassador. We are persistence predators, pursuit hunters. We evolved by chasing animals until they collapsed from exhaustion, then killing them. We are one of the most efficient endurance hunters our planet ever produced. The aliens stared at her. But you build cities, Rixtal said weakly. You cooperate. We're also social predators, Hyejin continued. We hunt in packs. We coordinate. We communicate. We work together to bring down prey much larger than ourselves. On the field, the children finally stopped arguing and resumed playing. Jinwoo immediately began another chase, running at full speed after the ball. How is this possible? Gornath asked. Predators do not cooperate. They compete. They fight. Human predators do, Daesung said. We're special like that. Rixtal watched the children play for another moment, then turned and walked away quickly. The other aliens followed, hurrying their offspring along. The young aliens kept looking back at the field with wide, frightened eyes. Hyejin turned to Daesung. That went well? They're going to tell the council. Yes, the council is going to panic. Probably. Daesung looked back at the field where human children continued their game, running and chasing and arguing and laughing. We should have led with the predator thing. Where's the fun in that? Hyejin smiled. On the field, the argument about the goal started up again. The emergency council session started 3 hours after the observation mission returned. Rixtal stood before the assembled delegates, still shaking from what it had witnessed. I am telling you, Rixtal said, humans are apex predators, not prey, not herbivores, predators. The council chamber filled with chittering, growling, and various sounds of disbelief. High Chancellor Mortuck raised one of his 6 arms for silence. Ambassador Rixtal, your initial reports classified humans as peaceful and cooperative. Now you claim they are predators. Which is true. Both, Rixtal said. That is what makes them terrifying. A delegate from the curved tail species stood. Explain how a species can be both predator and peaceful. These traits are contradictory. I watched their young hunt, Rixtal said. They chased a small sphere for an hour without stopping. They used pack tactics. They communicated constantly. They showed no mercy, no hesitation. And when the hunt ended, they immediately began another. Their endurance is unlike anything I have ever seen. You watched children play a game, another delegate said dismissively. This is not evidence of predator status. Show them the footage, Rixtal commanded. The lights dimmed. Video footage appeared on the main screen. The council watched as human children ran, jumped, collided, and competed with ferocious intensity. They saw Jinwoo chase the ball for 40 minutes straight. They saw Sujin outrun 3 opponents. They saw pack coordination that would make a wolf jealous. Then they saw the argument. They disputed territory rights for 63 minutes, Rixtal said. Over a game. Imagine what they would do over actual resources. The council sat in stunned silence. This cannot be accurate, Mortuk said. Predator species do not cooperate. They cannot. The instinct to compete for resources prevents complex social structures. Then how do you explain this? Rixtal gestured to the screen where human children clearly worked together, even as they competed. We need an expert, Mortuk decided. Bring in one of their scholars. The next day, Taemin stood before the Galactic Council. He was a historian and military strategist, and he had been briefed on the situation. He found it funny, which probably was not the right reaction, but he could not help himself. Honorable delegates, Taemin began, I understand there has been some confusion about human nature. Your species was classified as prey, Mortuk said. This appears to be incorrect. Very incorrect, Taemin agreed. Humans are persistence hunters. Do you know what that means? The council waited. It means we evolved to run after animals until they died from exhaustion. An antelope can sprint faster than a human, but it must stop to rest. Humans do not stop. We chase for hours, days if necessary. We follow the prey until its body literally shuts down from overheating and fatigue. Then we kill it. Several delegates made sounds of distress. This is your primary hunting method? A delegate asked. Was, Taemin corrected. We do not hunt much anymore. We have agriculture and industry now. But yes, for millions of years humans ran animals to death. We are very good at it. But you are social, Mortuk said. You cooperate. You have laws and cities and art. Yes? Predators do not have these things. Human predators do, Taemin said. He pulled up a presentation. Let me show you some of our history. The council watched in growing horror as Taemin presented human warfare. Wars that lasted 30 years, 100 years. Wars that killed millions. Weapons that could destroy entire cities. Strategies that required coordination between thousands of individuals. You fight each other? A delegate asked weakly. We used to, quite a lot, Taemin admitted. We are better about it now. Mostly we channel our competitive instincts into sports and business. Sports, Rixtal said, like the ball game. Soccer, yes. Also basketball, football, baseball, hockey, rugby, and about 500 other competitive activities. Humans need to compete. It is in our nature. But we learn to compete without killing each other. Usually. Usually, Mortuk repeated. Taemin shrugged. We are a work in progress. On one of the Vraxian homeworlds, a child psychologist named Sora was having a very strange day. She had been assigned to monitor the young Vraxian warrior scholar, Thexer, who was still traumatized from the soccer game incident. Tell me what frightened you, Sora said gently. Thexer clicked its mandibles nervously. The human cub, Jiwon. She stood in front of the goal and let the ball hit her. Over and over. Projectiles moving at high speed, aimed directly at her body. She did not dodge. She did not flee. She caught them. She was playing goalkeeper, Sora explained. It is her job to stop the ball. She is young, untrained, soft. Yet she threw herself at danger repeatedly. Why? Because it is fun, Sora said. Because she wants to help her team win. Because humans enjoy challenges. Your young deliberately seek danger for entertainment? Well, we have safety equipment and rules, Sora said. But yes, essentially. Human children play many competitive games. It teaches them coordination, strategy, and teamwork. Thexer stared at her. You train your young to be warriors through play. Sora paused. She had never thought about it that way, but from an alien perspective, maybe it was true. Human children did play games that simulated hunting, fighting, and competing for resources. Tag was chase and capture. Hide and seek was stalking. Sports were organized territorial combat with rules. I suppose that is one way to look at it, Sora said carefully. Humans are predators who disguise their hunting instincts as games, Thexer said. This is clever. Frightening, but clever. Back at the council station, Captain Yunho was giving a presentation to military delegates about human naval capabilities. It was not going well. You have vessels that can remain underwater for months? A Krellian commander asked. Yes, submarines. They run on nuclear power. Nuclear power? The same nuclear power you use in weapons? We try not to use nuclear weapons anymore, Yunho said. Bad for the environment. But you have them. Yes. How many? Yunho consulted his notes. About 13,000. The room went silent. 13,000 weapons capable of destroying cities, the commander said slowly. We had more, Yunho said helpfully. We reduced the stockpiles. You built more than 13,000? Well, we were competing with each other. The Cold War was complicated. You built world-ending weapons as competition? Like I said, complicated. The military delegates exchanged glances. One of them stood. How has your species survived this long without destroying yourselves? Good question, Yunho admitted. We came close a few times. But we decided cooperation was better than extinction, eventually. Eventually, the delegate repeated. We are stubborn, Yunho said. But we learn. That night, Thexer watched more footage of human children. This time, it was a school playground during recess. Human children ran everywhere, chasing each other, climbing structures, competing for balls and toys. They moved with endless energy, never seeming to tire. One clip showed two children arguing over a swing. They argued for 20 minutes about whose turn it was. Then they agreed to share. Then they argued about what sharing meant. Then they took turns. Then they became friends and played together. Thexer could not understand it. The aggression and competition followed by immediate cooperation. The ability to fight and then stop fighting. The endless energy and enthusiasm. Sora sat down beside the young alien. What are you thinking? Humans are the most dangerous species I have ever encountered, Thexer said quietly. Not because you are cruel or violent, but because you are predators who learn to work together. You have the instincts of hunters and the society of builders. You should not exist. This combination should be impossible. But we do exist, Sora said. Yes, Thexer agreed. And the galaxy has no idea what that means. Sora looked at the young alien and felt a moment of understanding. The council had made first contact expecting to find sheep. Instead, they found wolves. Wolves who built cities and wrote poetry and played games with their children. Wolves who could be both fierce and gentle, competitive and cooperative. The galaxy was about to change, and no one was ready. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council High Command lasted for 6 hours. Commander Ji-Ho watched the live feed from Earth's Defense Coordination Center and tried not to worry too much. They are panicking, his aide said. Can you blame them? Ji-Ho replied. They thought we were harmless. On the screen, council delegates argued in a dozen different languages. The translator struggled to keep up. Words like threat assessment and containment protocols kept appearing in the transcripts. Should we be concerned? The aide asked. Probably, Ji-Ho said. But let us wait and see. Panic makes people stupid. Maybe they will calm down? The council did not calm down. High Chancellor Mortuk called for an intelligence review. Every piece of data about humanity was examined again, this time with the understanding that humans were predators, not prey. The results were disturbing. 8 billion individuals, the intelligence officer reported. All apex predators. They have colonized every climate zone on their planet. Deserts, frozen tundra, mountains, jungles, ocean coasts. They adapt to any environment. Population distribution? Mortuk asked. Highly concentrated in cities, but with settlements everywhere. They have developed global transportation networks, communication systems that connect the entire species. They share information constantly. Military capabilities? The officer hesitated. Significant. They have weapons that can strike targets on the other side of their planet in 30 minutes. Aircraft that travel faster than sound. Autonomous drones. Cyber warfare capabilities. Genetic engineering. Artificial intelligence. The council chamber filled with uneasy sounds. They developed all of this while we thought they were peaceful? A delegate asked. They are peaceful, the officer said. There has not been a major war between human nations in 80 years, but they maintain military capabilities that exceed most council species. How is this possible? Mortuk demanded. Predator species should be fighting constantly. Competition for resources, territory, dominance. This is how predators behave. Human predators are different, the officer said. They compete, but they also cooperate. They formed something called the United Nations, a global government where nations work together to solve problems. They still argue constantly, but they argue instead of fighting. They argue, Rixtal said from its seat. Yes, we saw this. Human young can argue for hours. It appears to be a cultural trait, the officer confirmed. Humans prefer negotiation and debate over violence. Usually. Usually, Mortuk said. That word kept coming up. Meanwhile, the cultural exchange program continued because the council had already sent invitations, and canceling would be a diplomatic disaster. Boram, a 17-year-old from Seoul, found herself on a Krellian warrior world, preparing for something called the Trial of Claws. You understand the rules? The Krellian instructor growled. You will complete the obstacle course, climbing, swimming, running, combat simulation. The trial tests strength, speed, and endurance. Most youth complete it in 4 hours. Okay, Boram said. She stretched her legs and checked her shoes. You may begin. Boram started running. The obstacle course was brutal. Walls to climb, ropes to swing across, pools to swim through, targets to hit, heavy objects to carry. It was designed to exhaust a young Krellian warrior, and Krellians were reptilian predators with thick scales and powerful muscles. Boram finished in 3 hours and 40 minutes. The Krellian youth stared at her in disbelief. She was smaller than them, softer. She had no scales, no claws, no natural armor, yet she had outlasted them all. How? One young Krellian asked. I run track at school, Boram said, breathing hard but not collapsed. And I swim. This was like a harder version of gym class. Gym class? The instructor asked. Physical education. All human children do it. We run, climb, swim, play sports. It is part of our school curriculum. The Krellians exchanged glances. Humans trained all their young like warriors, not just the ones who chose military careers. Every human child learned endurance and coordination. Then another human arrived. Kyung-soo was 18 and had been training at a different facility. He had also completed the Trial of Claws in under 4 hours. Nice job, he said to Boram. What was your time? 3:40. 3:38, Kyung-soo said with a grin. No way. The swimming section alone took at least 12 minutes. I did it in 11. Impossible. The distance is 200 meters. In that water current, 11 minutes is impossible. I am a stronger swimmer than you. You are not. I swim faster. The argument began. Both humans had completed a trial designed to push young warriors to their absolute limits. Both had performed better than any Krellian youth in recent memory. And now they were arguing about who was technically faster, with the intensity of scholars debating physics. The argument lasted for 2 hours. They brought in timers. They reviewed the course layout. They calculated optimal swimming speeds. They debated technique and training methods. The Krellian instructor watched in exhausted disbelief. These two soft-skinned aliens had just completed a grueling physical trial, and instead of resting, they were arguing about fractions of minutes. Do humans ever stop competing? The instructor asked. Boram and Kyung-soo paused in their argument. No, they said together. Then they resumed arguing. Back on the council station, Wextar, the security chief, was updating his threat assessments. The more he learned about humans, the more concerned he became. They are dangerous, he told Mortuk. Not because they want to conquer anyone, but because they are unpredictable. They cooperate like prey species, but think like predators. They are peaceful until they are not. They negotiate until negotiation fails. Then they become extremely efficient at warfare. What do you recommend? Mortuk asked. Friendship, Wextar said. Definitely friendship. We do not want humans as enemies. You are security chief. You think we cannot contain them? Wextar gestured to his report. They have 8 billion individuals, Chancellor. All of them are persistence predators with pack coordination instincts. They have global infrastructure, advanced technology, and most importantly, they are stubborn. If we tried to contain them, they would not stop trying to escape. Ever. They would chase freedom the way they chase everything else, until they caught it or died trying. So we befriend them. We befriend them, Wextar confirmed, and we hope they continue to be peaceful. On Earth, Jiho received a message from the Council. It was carefully worded and diplomatically vague, but the meaning was clear. The Council had realized their mistake and were adjusting their approach. They are scared, his aide said. They will get over it, Jiho replied. Once they realize we are not planning to chase them across the galaxy. Are we not? The aide asked with a slight smile. Jiho laughed. No, we have enough to do here. Besides, chasing entire civilization sounds exhausting even for humans. In the council chamber, Mortuk made his decision. We will proceed with full diplomatic relations. Humans will be offered council membership. We will establish trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and mutual defense treaties. What if they refuse? A delegate asked. They will not refuse, Mortuk said. Humans are social predators. They want to be part of the pack. Our pack is the largest in the galaxy. They will join. And if they become a threat? Mortuk looked at the delegate. Then we will have to deal with 8 billion persistence predators who never give up, never stop chasing, and work together like no predator species should be able to work together. Let us hope it does not come to that. The council voted. The decision was unanimous. Humanity would join the Galactic Council, but the terms were slightly different than originally planned. Humans were not classified as a protected prey species requiring guidance. They were classified as an apex predator species with peaceful tendencies. It was a new category. They had to invent it specifically for humans. Somewhere on Earth, children were still playing soccer, still running, still chasing, still arguing about the rules. They had no idea that their game had changed galactic politics forever, but they would have been proud if they knew. 3 months after first contact, human children were living on alien worlds across the galaxy. The Council had expected disaster. Instead, they got something completely unexpected. Understanding. On the Varaxian homeworld, Minji attended what the aliens called a warrior academy. It was a school for young Varaxians preparing for military or leadership roles. The curriculum was brutal by human standards. 12-hour days, constant physical training, academic tests designed to break weak students. Minji was 13 years old and barely 5 feet tall. The Varaxians towered over her. They had hard exoskeletons, sharp mandibles, and hunting instincts honed over millions of years of evolution. They expected her to fail. She did not fail. What surprised the Varaxians was not that she kept up with the training. Humans were endurance predators. They had learned this. What surprised them was what Minji did during free time. A young Varaxian named Toresh struggled with mathematics. Mathematics was essential for navigation and tactics, and Toresh was failing. In Varaxian culture, failure meant loss of status. Weak students were expected to quit or be driven out by stronger students. Minji saw Toresh struggling and sat down next to him. "Need help?" she asked. Toresh clicked his mandibles in confusion. "Why would you help? We compete for ranking. If I fail, your position improves." "That is silly," Minji said. "We are in the same class. If you fail, you leave. Then I have one less person to study with. Also, you seem nice." "I do not want you to fail." She spent the next 2 hours teaching Toresh mathematics. She explained concepts in different ways until he understood. She was patient. She was kind. Toresh could not understand it. "You are a predator. Predators do not help competitors." "Human predators do," Minji said. "We work better in groups. If everyone in the group is strong, the group is stronger. This is basic logic." The concept spread through the academy. Human children cooperated with potential competitors. They shared knowledge. They helped struggling students. They formed study groups that included both humans and aliens. The Vraxian instructors watched in amazement. These were predator young displaying pack loyalty to aliens outside their own species. It should have been impossible. Dr. Sang He, the evolutionary biologist, was giving another presentation to the council. This time, the delegates actually wanted to listen. Humans evolved as pack hunters, Sang He explained. We took down prey larger than ourselves by working together. A single human cannot kill a mammoth. 10 humans with spears and coordination can. This created evolutionary pressure for cooperation. But cooperation conflicts with predator competition, a delegate argued. Not in pack predators, Sang He said. Wolves cooperate to hunt, but also compete for status within the pack. Orcas work together but have social hierarchies. Humans do the same. We compete within our pack but cooperate against outside challenges. And you consider aliens part of your pack? Sang He shrugged. If you are friendly to us, yes. Humans have a very flexible definition of pack. We originally applied it to family groups, then tribes, then nations, now species. Some humans will probably extend it to include friendly aliens. This is why your young help alien students? Yes, they see the aliens as part of their group. Pack members help each other. The council was beginning to understand, but understanding brought new concerns. If humans considered aliens as pack members, what happened when pack members were threatened? They found out on the Tooth Clan homeworld. Sumin was 11 years old and very small for her age. She attended a mixed school with human and alien children. Most students were friendly, but 3 young Tooth Clan bullies decided that small humans were easy targets. They cornered Sumin in the cafeteria and told her to give them her lunch. Sumin refused. They threatened her. She still refused. Then Dong Hyun arrived. He was 12 and not particularly large, but he was human. He stepped between Sumin and the bullies. "Leave her alone," he said. The lead bully laughed. "Go away, soft skin. This does not concern you. She is human. It concerns me." Within 2 minutes, 4 more human children had appeared. They did not attack. They did not threaten. They simply formed a circle around Sumin and refused to move. The bullies quickly realized they were outnumbered. Even worse, they realized that the human children were not afraid. The humans stared at them with calm, predator eyes. Patient. Waiting. Ready. The bullies left. Later, the school administrator tried to understand what had happened. "You did not fight. Fighting is against the rules," Dong Hyun said. "We followed the rules." "But you were ready to fight." "If they had touched Sumin, yes. You are young. You are smaller than Tooth Clan children. They would have won." Dong Hyun smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "Would they? We are persistence predators. We do not need to win quickly. We just need to keep going until they give up." The administrator understood then. The bullies had faced a pack of young predators willing to endure injury without backing down. The bullies would have won the immediate confrontation, but would have faced endless retaliation from humans who never forgot and never stopped. It was smarter to walk away. On another world, young Mi was making history. She was a professional athlete from Earth, and she had been invited to compete in the Krellian Champion Games. The games were open to all council species and featured the greatest warriors and athletes in the galaxy. Young Mi entered the marathon event. The course was 50 kilometers through rough terrain. It was designed for Krellian warriors, not humans. She finished first. The Krellian champion, who had won the event for 3 years running, finished 12 minutes later. He collapsed at the finish line. Young Mi was tired but standing. "How?" he gasped. "I train for marathons," Young Mi said. "This is what I do. But the heat, the terrain, the distance." "I am from Earth," Young Mi said. "We ran animals to death across the savannah in the midday sun. This is not that hard." The Krellian stared at her. Then he started laughing. "Humans are insane." "Maybe," Young Mi agreed. "But we finish what we start." After the race, Young Mi did something unexpected. She spent 2 hours with the Krellian champion, discussing training techniques. She shared her methods. She explained interval training, hydration strategies, and endurance building. "Why help me?" he asked. "I am your competition." "Next time you will be faster," Young Mi said, "which means I will have to be faster too. Competition makes us both better." The Krellian thought about this. "You want me to improve so you can compete against a stronger opponent?" "Yes." "Winning against a weak opponent is boring. Winning against a strong opponent is satisfying." This was a very human way of thinking. Competition was not about destroying opponents. It was about pushing each other to improve. The joy was in the challenge itself, not just the victory. On a military training station, Yoon-ji and 3 other human cadets participated in a tactical simulation. They faced a squad of elite Krellian warriors in a capture-the-flag scenario. The Krellians were stronger, tougher, better armed, and more experienced. They expected to win easily. They lost. The humans won through tactics the Krellians had never seen before. They split into 2 groups. One group created a distraction, making noise and drawing attention. The other group circled around and took the objective, while the Krellians were focused on the distraction. When the Krellians realized what had happened and charged the second group, the first group had already repositioned to cut off their retreat. The humans had created a trap using nothing but coordination and communication. The Krellian commander studied the simulation recording afterward. "You sacrificed optimal positioning to create a deception. You divided your forces. You took risks. This should not have worked." "But it did work," Yoon-ji said, "because we did not expect it. We were trained to face direct confrontation. Krellian tactics are about strength and aggression. Human tactics are about adaptation and cooperation," Yoon-ji explained. "We look at the situation and figure out a solution. Sometimes the solution is strength. Sometimes it is deception. Sometimes it is endurance. We use whatever works." The commander nodded slowly. "Your species is very dangerous." "Only if you make us your enemy," Yoon-ji said. "If you make us your friend, we are very helpful." Then the humans spent 3 hours arguing about whose idea the winning strategy had been. The Krellians watched in exhausted fascination as the humans debated, analyzed, and thoroughly discussed every aspect of the simulation. "Do you always do this?" the commander asked. "Do what?" "Argue after victory." "Oh yes," Yoon-ji said. "We like to understand what worked and what did not. Also, winning is more fun if you can tease your teammates about their mistakes." The commander decided that humans were the strangest predators in the galaxy. But maybe that was exactly what the galaxy needed. 6 months after first contact, the Galactic Council made their final decision about humanity. The debate had lasted for weeks. Every aspect of human nature had been examined, discussed, and argued about. Now it was time to vote. High Chancellor Mortuk addressed the assembly. "We have learned much about humans in these months. They are apex predators with social cooperation instincts. They are competitive but peaceful. They are stubborn but adaptable. They are dangerous but kind. They are, in short, completely unique in the galaxy." The chamber was silent. Delegates from 100 worlds waited for the verdict. "The question before us is simple," Mortuk continued. "What role should humanity play in the Galactic Council? Some have suggested we limit their involvement. Others have suggested we fear them. I suggest we need them." A murmur went through the assembly. For thousands of years, the Council has operated under a simple understanding. Predator species are rare, aggressive, and difficult to manage. Prey species are common, peaceful, and form the backbone of civilization. These two types rarely cooperate. Predators compete. Prey flee. This has been the natural order. Mortuk gestured to a display showing human children playing with alien children. Humans have shown us a third option. They are predators who chose cooperation. They have hunting instincts, but use those instincts to chase goals, not prey. They compete fiercely, but can become friends with their competitors. They are loyal to their pack, and their pack includes anyone who treats them with respect. "What are you proposing?" a delegate asked. I propose that humans be granted full council membership with a special designation. They will serve as mediators, peacekeepers, and cultural bridges. When predator species and prey species cannot work together, humans will help them find common ground. When conflicts arise, humans will negotiate solutions. When member species need training and cooperation and competition balance, humans will provide it. You want to make them diplomats? Another delegate asked incredulously. I want to make them teachers, Mortuk said. The galaxy has much to learn from a species that mastered the balance between competition and cooperation. The vote was called. The result was overwhelming. Humanity was granted full council membership with the title of Cultural Bridge Species. It was an honor that came with significant responsibilities. On Earth, Dae-sung watched the announcement with Hee-jin. Cultural Bridge Species. That sounds important. It is, Hee-jin said. They are essentially asking us to teach the galaxy how to be like us. That is a lot of responsibility. We can handle it. Can we? Dae-sung asked. We are the species that argues for an hour about soccer goals. That is exactly why they need us, Hee-jin said with a smile. We know how to compete and cooperate at the same time. Most species think those are opposites. We know they are not. Around the galaxy, human children continued their exchange programs. But now the programs had a different purpose. Instead of just observing, humans began teaching. On the Vraxian homeworld, Minji organized study groups that mixed high-performing and struggling students. The Vraxians learned that helping others did not mean weakness. It meant building a stronger group. On the Tooth Clan homeworld, Donghyun started a sports league that included multiple species. The aliens learned that you could compete fiercely during the game and be friends afterward. Competition did not require lasting enmity. On the Krellian champion world, Young Mi taught training methods that emphasized cooperation. Krellian warriors learned that working in groups made them individually stronger, not weaker. Everywhere humans went, they brought the same lesson. You can be both predator and pack. You can be both competitive and cooperative. These things are not contradictions. They are complementary. Not everyone understood at first. Many species struggled with the concept. But humans were patient. They demonstrated the principles through action. They showed, rather than told. On a neutral station, representatives from two species who had been in conflict for decades met for negotiations. The talks had stalled. Both sides were too proud to compromise. Both felt they could not show weakness. The human mediator was a woman named Ji-won. She was the same Ji-won who had once played goalkeeper in that fateful soccer game. She was now 24 and trained in diplomatic negotiation. Tell me why you are fighting, Ji-won said to both sides. They explained. It was a border dispute over a small resource-rich system. Both sides had historical claims. Both sides felt justified. So you are competing for resources, Ji-won said. This makes sense. Competition for resources is natural. Both sides nodded. But competition does not require war, Ji-won continued. There are other ways to compete. She proposed a solution. The system would be jointly administered. Both species would have equal access to resources, but extraction rights would be granted based on efficiency scores. The species that developed better technology and methods would earn greater access. You are telling us to compete for resources through innovation instead of violence, one delegate said. Yes, Ji-won confirmed. Compete. Push each other to improve, but do it in a way that makes both species stronger instead of weaker. The proposal was accepted. Both species began competing to develop better extraction technology. They pushed each other to innovate. Both improved rapidly. In 3 years, they extracted more resources than they could have gained through decades of warfare. It became known as the human solution, channeling competition into productive rather than destructive paths. Back on that soccer field in Seoul, something beautiful was happening. Human children played alongside alien children. Jin Woo, now 9 years old, was teaching a young Vraxian how to dribble. Sujin was showing a Krellian how to defend the goal. Tae-young was organizing teams that mixed species. The game started. The children ran, competed, argued, and laughed. They played with the same intensity as always, but now they did it together. Daesung and Rixtal stood on the sidelines watching. They had become friends over these months. The alien ambassador had overcome its initial fear and learned to appreciate human nature. Your species is still insane, Rixtal said. Still true, Daesung agreed, but I am beginning to understand why. On the field, a goal was scored. Immediately, 3 children claimed they had touched the ball last and should get credit. The argument began. Here we go again, Daesung sighed. The children argued for 30 minutes. They brought in evidence. They recreated the kick. They debated physics and ball trajectory. They discussed the definition of assist versus goal. Finally, they agreed that it was a team effort and everyone contributed. Then they immediately resumed playing. They argued for 30 minutes and then forgot about it, Rixtal observed. That is the human way, Daesung said. Compete passionately, argue intensely, then move on. Your young one, Jinwoo, Rixtal said. He has been running for 45 minutes without stopping. That is nothing. When he was 8, he chased a ball for a full hour. How is this possible? We are persistence predators, Daesung reminded the alien. We do not stop. Rixtal watched the children play, human and alien together, competing and cooperating simultaneously. It was beautiful in its own chaotic way. The galaxy is better for having met your species, Rixtal said quietly. Thank you. Even if you are all completely insane. Especially because we are insane, Daesung corrected with a grin. On the field, Jinwoo scored a goal. He celebrated with his teammates, both human and alien. Then another child insisted the goal should not count because of a minor rule violation. The argument began immediately. It would last 40 minutes. Then they would all go get ice cream together. This was the human way. This was what humanity brought to the galaxy. Not just technology or weapons or knowledge, but the understanding that competition and cooperation were not opposites, that you could chase something with fierce determination and still be friends with those who chased it with you. That arguments were not conflicts if both sides respected each other. That predator instincts could be channeled into productive paths rather than destructive ones. The galaxy had spent thousands of years believing that predators and prey could never truly cooperate. That competition meant conflict. That peace required everyone to be the same. Humans proved that was wrong. And somewhere, in every corner of the galaxy, children were learning to play soccer. They were learning to compete and cooperate. They were learning to argue passionately and then share snacks afterward. They were learning to be both predator and pack. They were learning to be human. And the galaxy would never be the same.